KJ is looking to make a speedy recovery, at least for his ego, while Cassius thinks he's looking in the wrong places for these answers. Layla is not playing no games and not offering no second chances, and we get to meet Khalil's gang-affiliated daddy. What's up, y'all? It's your guest, Erica Vane, coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All-American video. And in this one, I am breaking down the synopsis for Season 7, Episode number 4, titled Face Off. This episode will premiere on the 24th of February. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my All-American content and conversations. If you want to read any of the synopses that are currently available, I do have them listed for you on ericavane.com. Link in the description box down below, but I also will put it on screen so that you can read it here and then let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Without further ado, loyalties and legacy. After Beverly's humbling loss, KJ is determined to turn things around by looking to Jordan Baker's old plays, but Cassius encourages him to forge his own legacy instead. Elsewhere, Layla refuses to work with the pop star Elle Grant over controversial social media posts she made as a teen, while Coop advocates for second chances. When Khalil's gang member father Marquis shows up unannounced at school, he pressures Khalil to ignore his new priorities, leaving him torn between two worlds. Later, Ava attempts to mediate the conflict between Cassius and KJ, and the Jordan Baker mystery continues to unfold. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. This is very much so given interesting by way of the synopsis. If All American is not going to do nothing else, it's going to make one of these young football players put the entire weight of the world on their back and then try to run through a damn wall. Because KJ, what do you mean? You lost once and now all of a sudden you're trying to like unearth all of the plays that y'all currently have. Not just make small adjustments, but you just need to win the next thing. Like, it is very much so given the Spencer James weight of the world is now on KJ's little bony ass shoulders. And I actually hate this for him. And he's experiencing this where I feel like KJ is looking like the most that he can control as QB1 is the football team. He's had to move randomly. They told him randomly when he was supposed to be just going to football camp. Now all of a sudden he's living in Southern California when he's from Northern California, all randomly. And on top of that, his parents are on the way to goddamn divorce. He cannot actually control that. He's trying to make friends but can't figure out how to fit in. He's still at a place in his formative years to try to figure out who he is and what he wants and all of that type of stuff. So I really believe that this whole QB1 thing is something that he's going to really hyperfixate and focus on, specifically because it's the only thing within his control right now, within his, or he thinks within his control right now in his life. So that is the pressure that we're seeing him place on himself. And it just sucks because his father is also his coach in this position. And while that would seemingly be great because you will have somebody who is really paying attention on your athletic success, but Cassius feels like, to me, yes, he wants to come in, he wants to make a dent, he has a chip on his shoulder, he's trying to prove that this team can go far, specifically he can take this team far, but he's also dealing with very real personal things that I think are ultimately going to start to hit KJ even more. Because while Cassius is a present father, because he is the coach and Cassius is living with him, I think that he is emotionally very cut off and he's in a very defensive place, which is also adding on to this damn chip that he has on his shoulders. And again, KJ is the one who's going to suffer the most because he doesn't actually have a father who can emotionally meet him where he's at to process all of these big feelings that could be coming up with the move, with the divorce / separation, with the new team, with the like falling for random girls that he just met, and like what does he do with those feelings. So it's interesting to me that Ava has to step in and try to mediate the conflict between Cassius and KJ, because Cassius, you're actually the adult, and while you are his coach and there's certain things that you need to be able to do and say to him as a coach, and he needs to not, be emotional about it or whatever, you still as a father have to show up in that position as well. You don't get to cop out and just lean heavily onto coach side of things and not actually be a father. And I don't think that Cassius is in a position right now to see where he is going to start to drop the ball as KJ's father. And that to me sucks. Ultimately, like from what we're seeing in these first 3 episodes, the conflict that KJ and Cassius are experiencing doesn't feel like it actually has to be there. It doesn't actually feel like KJ is blaming his father too much after that conversation with his dad or with both parents. It doesn't seem like he's blaming his father specifically about the dang on separation. And if anything, I would think that would be the major conflict, but it's not. So for me, in looking at, okay, KJ is taking this loss very bad, and now he wants to go look at all of Jordan's old plays. With Cassius not being in an emotionally stable place, that's going to trigger him. We already got the preview to this triggering him when he got all real defensive with Jordan, when KJ was so excited last episode to introduce, or in episode 2, to introduce Cassius to Jordan, because he was excited to work with him. He said that Jordan holds all the passing records and is the QB1 to like emulate, specifically at Beverly. And Cassius had nothing but attitude. We talked about on the live stream about how it feels like he's beefing with the ghost of Billy's past, and now because he don't have Billy to beef with, he gonna go ahead and beef with his son. And instead of maybe having a conversation with KJ, I know he ain't gonna do that. He's just going to continue to get angry, or continue to have attitudes, or continue to have negative energy, which is going to continue to feed the conflict that is brewing between these two. I think that KJ is a very sensible young man. And when they told him about the separation, told him about the move, once they explained like it was no cheating involved, and they mutually decided it, and they kind of mutually shared responsibility, he was like, all right, now all you have to do, Cassius, is be honest about your feelings, and you're not doing that. So look, Now look, it's going to spiral, and you're going to create a situation where your son can no longer look up to you because you are acting out, you are triggered, you are frustrated, you are defensive, and maybe rightfully so, but you're also wearing multiple hats in his life, so he's being put in a position to see you in certain ways, and then you're not even able to manage those in a healthy way, which that to me is what's creating the conflict. But that's a little bit deeper than what the synopsis is showing, but the writing is on the wall for me to just see. I'm recording this after watching episode 3, episode 2, sorry. I'm recording this after watching episode 2 and doing a preview breakdown for episode 3. And just in watching 2 episodes and then reading the synopsis and seeing the trailer for episode 3, it is like clear that is what is actually happening. And quiet as kept, most of the responsibility is going to fall onto Cassius behind this, because KJ is quite literally just trying to figure it out. And your ass is not doing much of anything to help him figure it out, unfortunately, Cassius. And maybe you need some help trying to figure this out too. Who the hell knows? Okay. Now, elsewhere, Layla is refusing to help pop star Elle Grant. I'm trying to figure out if that is Liv's sponsee that we got to meet in episode 2. The one that she had kind of like looked up to, and the one that Liv was like ditching her for, trying to maintain some type of privacy, because it feels very weird if that is the girl, for her to now decide that she doesn't want to give her a second chance. And I wonder what that looks like. Like, do she not want to let her like perform at Layla's? And then why does Coop need to get involved? Like, girl, Coop, you need to focus on these panic attacks and you in law school and potentially smashing the TA/professor and whatever y'all got going on. You need to get out of Layla's business, because if she don't want to get this lady a second chance, that's fine as well. She doesn't necessarily owe anybody anything. To me, this feels like the most light part of this episode, and I'm always down to watch Lil Lele on screen, so okay. But yeah, those are my thoughts around that. Now, meeting Khalil's daddy, y'all, watching Marquis pop up, I feel like this episode is where things are going to take a turn for the worst, but in the best way, because Khalil to me is already leading the charge in this series as it pertains to like great storytelling, or specifically his story arc, and then the actor just providing really, really great performances episode after episode. Now we're getting the person behind the major part to his backstory of like why he hasn't been playing football, his affiliation with this gang. Specifically, I think it comes by way of his father. I don't believe that he has been actually jumped in or initiated in, but his father could be an OG, and that is how he's actually tied to it. And because he still lives at home with his father, he is required to do certain things. So like putting Khalil in a position to choose to follow the orders of his father, or to lean into his new mentor, Jordan, and what Jordan has planned for him, and trying to get him out of his circumstances. It's going to be a very tough position to be put into, very dramatic, but it's going to make for a really, really great TV. So I'm excited to meet Marquis in this episode. We already got the like little backstory episode 2 about how basically Khalil quit because his father used to come up to his games, be drunk and cuss out the coaches and do all types of stuff. Just have no respect for the other people that are around his son, helping to raise his son, coaching his son, and supporting his son is something outside of like gang life. So I think that we're going to see a repeat of that, and then we're going to see Khalil struggle with what is he going to do? Is he going to fight for this new life that he believes that he deserves, and all that, you know, he has been told and ultimately believes that he deserves? And again, I'm looking forward to seeing Ava back to mediate between those two. The Jordan Baker mystery that unfolds, it's got to be something tied to Coach Bobby. Like, there's talks around the interwebs about Coach Bobby being Billy Baker's older brother. That doesn't make sense to me in reference to there being issues. He wasn't at the funeral. He don't seem to have no love lost for Billy Baker. So hopefully we just get more information about it. I'm already over them like teasing this because this man is making me mad, and I feel like he's bullying Jordan, and it pisses me off. But ultimately, hopefully we get a little bit more so that we can really put 2 and 2 together in this episode. And those are my thoughts for the synopsis, y'all, for episode 4 from season 7 of All American. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are you predicting? Who's your favorite character? What storyline are you most invested in? Tell me all of that and more in the comment section down below. And Sugar Sis, you like to talk TV with, and I'm going to see you in the next one.